Hello, hello, hello. What ho? Welcome back to another exciting adventure of Radio Free Anarchy and Travel Mateus Finley. I'm your host. Could you see that? I'm your host, Travel Mateus. I'm going to be reading through and responding to my friend Adam's comment on my last video, Knowledge is Power. So what I'm going to do in this episode is just read through the comments of my last video, Knowledge is Power, from my friend Adam, who said that he appreciated the description that I gave of how we have been misled or bamboozled or swindled. And so I had all this litany of descriptions, and he says, good string of words, meaning, he can appreciate that. Although I disagree with the statement that followed, there is no God. You have been so snowballed, snowplowed, bulldozed, hornswoggled, bamboozled, shystered. If you can't prove what you know, you don't know Smurf. Okay. So that was my comment on the last video that he said that he appreciated. And now we're going to have our back and forth here. He says, a good string of words. Though I disagree with the statement that followed when you said, there is no God. The metaphysical cannot be tangibly proven in a physical reality. So if that's what you're seeking, I can see why you would make such a statement. But we are more than the simple sum of our physicality. So I just want to stop there, because who told you the metaphysical cannot be tangibly proven in a physical reality? Who told you that? So many things that we don't know about this world, or that we can't even see, like sounds I can't hear, light spectra that I can't see, that's there. So all we have is metaphysical within physical. That's the world in which we exist, except for when we're dreaming, although our physical body is, and I am right here in this place, this physical location, So this whole thing, when people say, oh, God is outside of time. Who told you that? Like, what is time? I would describe time as the measurement of activity. Then, now, not yet. I was just a minute ago, I reached for this lighter, right? And now I'm not reaching for it anymore. So you say, well, God created, I'm not saying Adam is saying this. God says, or you say God created everything at once. That's when time started. Oh, really? What was he doing before that? That's time. There's no such thing as timelessness. That's like saying there is such thing as nothing. The minute you have nothing and are able to show it, it is now something. But nothing is no thing. It's not a lighter, it's not a pipe, it's not a pen, it's not a bottle, it's not a mouse, it's not a camera. So I disagree with the whole metaphysical cannot be proven thing. I just don't agree with that. And then the implication, or the implication of what Adam is saying is that God is metaphysical. God is not able to be detected. Well, then how do you know there's a God? Well, because there has to be. I don't think so. He says, attempts to describe and relate to the metaphysical most certainly fall short of the indescribable vastness of our metaphysical glory. So I can also see why you might stand against different descriptions or attempts to explain God.
The reason why it's not that I don't stand against different descriptions of ideas. You can tell me your ideas all day long, even about God, I guess. But at the end of the day, they're just ideas. So I don't stand against them. I stand against dogma. I stand against being told this is what this is, and it's only because I say so. That's dogma. And I'm not saying that Adam is taking that posture at all. Okay, he says, I had my own issues with personifying God for many years, but surely you must acknowledge, and he says that's his assumption, that I come from something. Yeah, my mom, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother, and on and on and on and on it goes. That's where I came from. But he says, surely you must acknowledge that you come from something that encapsulates more than you simply are alone. Like he's asking the question, like, why are we here? Where did we come from? How long have we got? Who am I? But the minute you go to a book or an other source than you're outside of empirical science. You're in the arena of story after that. And any story could be true. Even yours, and even yours, and even his, and even his, and even his, and even hers, and on it goes. And you have a billion stories. Great. Mine is no God. Your body, your ego, your soul are not all that is. How do you know? And cannot exist without an order, pattern, framework upon which to grow and experience a mere sliver of the glory that we have come to know as life. I agree with that in terms of the fact that we live in an orderly existence. This is not chaotic. Okay, we do not live in a random universe of just chaotic chance and nothing is ordered. That's not even our direct experience. Our direct experience is complete order. And so the appeal, though, is to say that your body, your ego, your soul are not all that is. I would say that I agree with that because I believe in other people. And each person has his or her own suke, his or her own pneuma, her own nous, her own ruach. Right? Just like everybody's body is different, but everyone has a body. But yeah, we exist in an orderly world with patterns and a framework. And that's why I think listening to other people is so vital, because when you're talking about more than just sports, when you're talking about existence and meaning and purpose, we can have a secondary experience through the story of another person, and then we react to it intuitively. It resonates with us or it doesn't. And so we are able to then acknowledge truth that is brought to us through other people without directly experiencing it ourselves. Okay? This is another aspect of God and a hint at clarifying the great mystery, if ever only so slightly. All right? And then I said something. Okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Also, no, I don't assume that I come from anything more than my own mind. But I am not alone because people exist. And those people are either minds, those people are other minds which are expressions of a greater mind. But I don't call that mind God. Beyond my own mind is only speculation and without empirical data. Okay, I'm going to do that one over again. Beyond my own mind is only speculation without empirical data. If I can prove it, it's not speculation. And yet all I can ever prove is that I am. I am that I am. I mean, what must I conclude about God when the only evidence I have for God is enjoy the silence? When I figured out that it was only I who was going to be my own solution, I stopped asking God for things that only I could do. Nothing I desire requires God. Nothing. Nothing I desire requires that God step in and do for me what I cannot do for myself. All right. Then Adam responds, based on the terms you've set here, I don't think there's enough overlap in our thinking to find an agreement about what constitutes as evidence. But that's basically what my previous point was. And I would disagree with that to a certain point because I would say that if he's saying that we have an agreement, we do have an agreement that evidence is going to be difficult to provide, but his conclusion still is, yeah, but there's still a creator. And I still don't think you can. I still don't think we can get around that bright, big red barn, that elephant in the room, of evidence for anything. Evidence for something is that which can be produced to demonstrate the legitimacy of a claim that's being made. I have a purple unicorn. If I cannot produce it, you don't have no obligation to believe that I do, or whatever. You know, I don't think that that's a difficult. I think we should be able to agree with that, Adam. That's what evidence is. Evidence is something physical that I can produce to justify what I'm saying. Response, Adam says, based on the terms you've set here, I don't think there's enough overlap in our thinking to find any agreement on what constitutes as evidence. But that's basically what my previous point was. I don't agree. That is to say, I disagree. It's not that we're going to disagree as what the evidence is. We have to agree on what evidence means. So I guess that's where this should stop, really. Like, what do you take as evidence? Or what is evidence in your mind? All right, so I'm going to wrap this part of the episode up because it went for another 10 or so minutes, and I wanted to try to make it short to see if that helps at all with it. So this is part 1. Part 2 is going to be following shortly. If you've made it this far, please make sure you hit that Fonzarelli, smash that like, leave a comment, and then also share the content. This has been another exciting adventure of Radio Free Anarchy. I'm your host, Travel Mateus. Until next time.